Okay, let's actually go up here. Let's just do this on one staff just to keep it kind of simple. Okay, so we're going to talk about triads first. So triads can be ordered 3 different ways without changing any notes. So we have this way. Let's do a C major, right? So we call that root position. You know this already. And then we'd call first inversion, be like this, that has the 3rd in the bass. And then we have second inversion, has the 5th in the bass. Okay? All 3 of these C major triads, just different inversions. Nothing fancy. This one, 164, is actually this one. So why do we call it 164? The reason is the 6 and the 4 come from the distance to the lowest note, not the root, the lowest note. So check it out. Lowest note, we go up to our next interval in this chord, and it's a 4th away. G to C is a 4th. Okay, so that's our 4. We go up to the next one. It's a 6 away from the lowest note of the chord. G to E is a 6. So that makes a C, E, G our C major triad. But the order of the intervals is a 4th and then a 6th. So that gets us 6-4. Now, why don't we call it a 1-4-6? I don't know. It's just called a 1-6-4. Trust me, it's the way it works. 1-6-4 is that one. Okay, let me let's do this one. Okay. So what would we call this one? I'm going to leave this over here for now. What would we call this one? By the same logic, our first interval is a 3, right? E to G is a 3rd. Our next interval, E to C, is a 6. Now, be careful about what I just said. I just said something a little confusing. I said our next interval. Don't be confused by going from the 2nd note to the 3rd note. It's always to the lowest note. So lowest note to the 2nd note, and then lowest note to the top note. Okay? So this one we could call, by the same logic, we have a 3rd and then a 6. We could call 6-3, but we don't. We kind of do. When we have a 3 in a triad, because there are so many 3rds in triads, we tend to just leave it off as a shorthand. So we call it 1-6 is what we call this one. The 3rd is kind of assumed that it's there. So when you see 1-6, that means the 3rd of the chord is the lowest note, and which is our first inversion. So 1-6 means first inversion. 1-6-4 means second inversion, because we have this 4th and then this 6th. This one we have that 3rd, which we use kind of a shorthand and leave off the 3 from our inversion name. And then the 6th, which we do put into our inversion name. And what about this one? How would I notate that it's in root position? There is a way, sort of. Okay, so here's our 1. What we could do, let me get this again. There we go. Okay, let's put this down here so we don't get confused. Let's use the same logic to figure out a name for our root position. So we have a 3rd and then a 5th, right? 1, 3, 5. That's how we make chords. So we could call this a 5-3. And that actually would be accurate, except that, again, this shorthand thing, we don't need to put any of that in there. 1-5-3 means the same as 1 with nothing. Okay, so if you see no inversion name, then it's assumed we're in root position. But sometimes you might see a 5-3 in a case like this. Okay, sometimes you might see something like this. What that means is that we have a 1-6-4 chord that is going to then move to a 5-3. That's kind of tricky to do the way I did it here, but let's try it. Okay, it's not super elegant, but it's technically correct. There are other cases when this is more clear. So in this case, all we really did was not reprint the 1. 1-6-4 down to a 5-3. So in this case, we do want to use the 5-3 because we want to show that the 6-4 is moving to a 5-3. It's kind of a rare case where we need to define the root position. Don't worry about this for now. We'll see examples of this when we get into figured bass, when this will be much more clear why you would want to do that. So for now, don't worry about it. Just remember that 1 is technically a 1-5-3 because of this 5th and then this 3rd. First inversion is 1-6. Second inversion is 1-6-4. So that only covers us for triads, though. Let's talk about 7th chords. 7th chords, let's go to a new video and talk about 7th chords and inversions.